Okay, in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to use Quotum Studio on a daily basis when you have done the scan with your laser robot and you have the DXF file already saved in your tablet. So this is our main desktop look on the Quotum Studio. You've got the three main sections plus menu. So the top section here is where the details about this specific job you selected will be displayed. So whenever there are notes about that job, preview of the layout of that job, information about the client, stone, etc. You can export the job from here, you can email from here, or you can edit the details when you can put all the details about the job. On the left side here, you can create new job, you can search for the job, and on that section here, you've got the list of your jobs which you have currently stored on your system, on your local machine, and also you can email them, you can export, open it. If you will see those marks, if the job has this arrow to the top, when you will highlight it, it will show when that job was last exported. If you will go on to email, you will see the emails into which you have sent that job. Okay, so very simple, very good view on the job. So let's open the first job, which I've already said this is blank job. We're gonna import the DXF file. Let's say use that drawing. When you are importing a job, the system will try to map the line styles layers which are on the existing DXF file you're trying to import it onto your line styles. So we have black joint and text. Obviously text is the text. A black joint we can select as a scan. This is the list of your styles available in your system, in your style set. Now, so I think I will use the scan because the job was just scanned, so I'm gonna use the scan. This is unused layers. On this particular DXF file, we have quite a lot unused layers. Okay, so we not gonna import them, we're just gonna import them too. So press OK, and this is how the job scan look like. You can see that numbers here, these are the scan points which have been selected during the scan. But if we will go onto the tools and show the capture points, this is points and numbers going to highlight also the places where the actual capture point were. All right, so very easy to see them. Hide capture points and show capture points. If you don't want to see these numbers, you're just gonna go onto the edit layers. We're gonna hide the text, and we have just our drawing. The circle shows the open end on the line. Okay, so let's rotate the drawing. Now what we're going to do is we will change the style to the scan, because every double click on the line will change the style for the line. You can highlight whatever lines you want, 1, 2, 3, and then you can restyle them by selecting different styles. Okay, we're going to come back to our scan, then to zoom in, zoom out, you see that green mark. You click on the other side, it will zoom in into that diagonal section. So you want to see just that corner, boom, you can do it. That tap on one place for longer than 1 second, you can select the items. If you're going from the right to the left, you will select every single object that the lines, the lasso will touch. But if you will do this from the left side to the right side, it will select only the object which is entirely within the lasso area. So let's now close the open ends. How we design this? We design our menu to have two main sections. One, whenever you're gonna add something new to the drawing, it will be draw. Whenever you're gonna modify, change existing objects, it will be edit. So we're gonna change existing objects. So in edit, we have the fillet function. When you close, right, let's try again. Edit, fillet, and it's showing us this panel. In this panel, you can change how you wanna close that corner. If you want to have the radius, you can add your radius for that corner, and apply will close with that radius. Okay, but you can close with the chamfer. Again, you will put the chamfer details, so it's not the size of this line that's going to be created, is how much you cut the corner from both sides to create that line. You have the option to replace existing fillet. Let's say we will close with the radius 52, but then you decided, okay, I want to have the sharp close. So you selecting sharp close. When you have that option to close the replace existing fillet or corner, you will just create a new one and erase whatever is there. If you will select to not replaced, then we can put our object and we have two lines created. Okay, simple. So let's create, let's close all these corners with this option. So we have that, we have this, that, and that. In here we can close those two, right? All those two, and then here we go. We can close this, or this probably we will extend. The important thing in here is every line, every segment in Quotum Studio has only 3 snap points, 2 ends and the middle. So there is no like a surprised snap point. Always, whenever you draw a line, it will always create a snap point between the other snap points and when the lines are crossing. So there is no something like sometimes you want to measure some different lines, you want to take the distance and it's taking you the point which is very close to your snap points. Now on the Quotum Studio you always have 2 ends and the middle between any lines. Okay, let's change this to a style line. So we can now, another tool, extend to this line. Extend work like probably most of the other extend features on different software. So whenever you select the line, you can click inside this circle and it will extend to the first line, right? Okay, let's try this. Let's offset the line by, let's say, 250 and extend this line to that line, and then we want to extend that line by clicking this line. It will extend to the first line that it's gonna meet. Okay, but you can still extend this onto that line straight away, no problem. If you have let's say you can also drag to different points, and this line will show you different angles. Let's say, let me draw one quick line from this point to here, and okay, and let's say we want to extend that line by dragging it. It's showing us the point here and which line we will meet it, we will go here. See, very easy, very simple, very useful informations. Okay, let's remove that line as well. So that's our scan line. Right, we know these are the walls here, and let's say this, well, all right, let's say we have this and this our wall. So let's change the style to a wall style. Working with it, specific styles for the specific use is very important. It helps you to automate the drawings and helps you to, the system will have more chances to find the errors or some strange thing that happens if you will use the meaningful styles. Okay, then let's change the remaining lines to actually, yeah, we should go from the left to the right, and this one we will have those as cabinets. Okay, let's fill that with a sharp fillet. Let's have this as a cabinets. Okay, so we've got the cabinets line and the wall. This is what we scan. Right, let's say we have a couple of units here. We're gonna use our offset function. By the way, you still can see what active style you have in this corner here. And now whenever you touch or select other line, it will show here what style that line is. Let's say you select that, it will show you the selected line is in the style wall. If you will select multiple line, it will show you multi-style line. You can see by the colors these are cabinets and the wall. Okay, so we are, if nothing is selected, you have the style saying what style is active. All right, so let's offset by, let's say 600 cabinet. We've got the 600 cabinet, then let's add another 800 cabinet. Right, that's it. So we have open lines here. That's because probably the angle between these two lines is not 90 degrees, and when we offset those lines, the one overlapping the other. To check this quickly, we can see the angle between these two lines, and you can see this is not in line. And what we've done, very helpful option, it is showing you that existing line, it needs to go that way if you want this to be square. There is a 2 millimeters difference between these 2 points. Okay, so what we can do in this case, we should actually, what I'm usually doing, I'm always straightening up the front of the cabinets, which I'm gonna use later on to, let's say, place any objects, hobs, sinks, cutouts. So what I would do is I will draw now perpendicular line 700 long from on this line and on the point when they cross in this direction. Okay, and I'll do the same here, and I will erase those first those lines. So these are my cabinets lines, and then let's extend this line to this point, to this point. So we have now beautiful cabinets line. Why using the styles are very important for in this case is when you want to draw center lines and you have cabinets, mark as a cabinet. You don't have to select different points. I want a center line between this and this. You going onto the draw and you can select that function, cab center, and then by just clicking inside the cabinet, we will automatically create a center line. Obviously, you can do that with just drawing the perpendicular line to this point, because that point, as I mentioned before, is dead center between these two lines. We have always, if any lines are crossing or touching, the snap points are always 3 points, ends and middle, right? But with the center line, it's very easy to do that way as well. The same here, any lines we can have the center line to be drawn. Okay, so let's add some what else? Let's add some overhangs onto that. Okay, we will select our polished line, we will draw offset. Let's say we have the face of the door, scan it, so we will have 20 millimeters overhangs everywhere. All right, so we just added our line. Now we're gonna close the corners. So internal corners we will have sharp. So these are and these are sharp. We will the other, which are external corners, let's use our 10 millimeters radius. We've got 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. And oh, actually I think on this side we should have sitting at our breakfast bar. Alright, so let's remove those two lines. Let's offset by 300 from this line to here. Then we're gonna close that with a sharp corner, and then in here let's do slightly bigger, 150. There we go. That's how the shape of our kitchen look like. Okay, now very cool feature, absolutely smashing. I've been thinking about this long time, and then when I've created, it was a game changer, right? Let's first close the wall line with that edge line. We already have this here. So that function is we will select and polish the edge, and then we will go to draw, and we will select gap function. I will change the name because probably it's not representing this very well. So what we're gonna offset the back of the stone from the wall, and we want the max clearance gap of 5 millimeters. We know the wall might go up and down, but we want the maximum gap between the back of the wall to be 5 millimeters, and we want as little lines as possible. We know the saw like to cut the straight line, so we will select the chain and apply. So I'm selecting this line, and we want to go onto that direction. The system is telling us, okay, listen, we'll have to have 4 segments to keep 5 millimeters fit. Okay, 4 segment. Then let's do on this line, and it will tell us we can have 2 segments only if you want to have that distance. So right, and then if we will check that, we look on this side is going right to the edge of the wall, the green line showing us the wall line. Okay, so this is automatically checking that we have correct gap everywhere. All right, and let's close that corner. Not this one, and then we can check the parallel line, and we have 5 millimeters. There is a 1 millimeter. Now let's say 5 and 1, 5 and 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. So look, it's very precise and it's telling us exactly what we want to know. We've got there one section and then two sections on this wall, right? So probably if we want to have this in one line, it will go with a bigger gap basically. But the same on this side. We've got, if you will look, pretty much consistent right to the end. Okay, so this is how we create with 2 clicks offset on uneven walls. Okay, so now let's draw the joint. Let's say we've got the OGH profile on that, so we can't just stop and run the joint straight. We have to do the mason's joint. So what we do, we're selecting the options joint. This is universal. We're selecting the line that we want to extend the joint, and you select that point here. You've got the preview of 3 different types of joint, A, B, C. As you can see, the section A, the type A, is just a straight joint. We can't use that joint here. We've got option C, which will create internal corner here and then straight joint up, which may work for us as long as we have that internal corner big enough to accommodate for the OG. But very usually, most of the time, for the OGH profile shark nose, we're using mason's joint. So option B, which is the easiest way. When you will select the option B, the system will ask you how do you want to proceed. Now, it's just asking for the distance between that distance will be, let me draw this again, that distance will be between that line and this line. So that distance here, we set 30 millimeters and the radius is of that internal corner here. So we check the B. 30 probably not enough, let's do 50, and that corner let's do 52, and this will create us this type of joint automatically, right? Let's check let's check the dimensions parallel this one to that one. We've got the 50 as we said, right? And then let's check the radius of this one. We've got the 50 as we said, so that's very cool. But let me show you the other joints. When we will create a standard joint, A is just a straight line, straight normal joint what you're using on the double bevel, double pencil, and normal modern edge profiles. When you are using this type of joint, the type of joint C, you can use on edge on OG profile if you want to have internal corner rounded. Very often on the acrylic materials you can do that because it's much easier to polish that section here instead of a corner section. So when you will use the C, you also gonna give the system knows how far do you want the joint line from that main joint and how big you want the internal corner, and when you give that you have the joint in this way. Okay, very simple. Those informations are for the joints are also in the general settings. If you will go onto general settings and you have joint B default distance 50, distance 30 and 50 radius, distance for the joint C is 30 and 15. Okay, so you can set your defaults over there, and then you will always pre-fill the details for you. So let's do joint as we said. We want to have the joint B here 50-50, that's it. And then on this side we will do joint 50-50 as well. Yes, so we will do joint B. 50-50. There we go. We have our two joints lines. Okay, so we're ready to place the sink, hob and abstents. Let's start with the abstents now. So to draw abstent, you're just selecting the abstent. You're selecting how far do you want to draw the abstent from the wall line. So we want to do, let's say 200, and then let's say we want the absent to be 100 millimeters high, and then right, and then you have two options to draw the abstent. These are the smart way of doing. You can select the point and the point, and then the way it will draw the absent between the points you have selected. But you can also click on the line. It will select the joints, the abstent on the wall line. And let's do on this side as well. He drew for us the abstents, okay? But let's say you've got a column here, 250 by 250, okay? So let's quickly change the style to a wall and draw offset 250 from this side, from this side, 250 from this side. Let's close the wall. This is our wall. Okay, and then let's offset also for offset 5 millimeters for that wall here. We're gonna quickly fill it. Let's do sharp, then you will see the next great feature we have added on. Right, let's say we've got the wall like this. All right, so we're gonna draw our two additional abstents, which are 200 offset. We want the one here, one here. Right, the abstents are overlapping. This one is too short, doesn't look great, doesn't look what we want. But if the abstent process, the system will automatically extend that abstent to the edge of the polished line. The abstents process, we have the abstent here. Well, okay, there we go. We've got that abstent is gonna go from the wall to the end here, overlapping that abstent, which is here. And here we go. Brilliant. Another thing which is showing out the errors is we have to ignore this cladding warning. I will explain that later. But we have this section here. We have these square internal corners, but as we know, the older regulations now saying we have to have the rounded internal corners. So what we have to do, we have to close that with a minimum 5 millimeters radius, right? And when we close that with the radius, the error is gone. We have only warning about the cladding, which is another system to check that. So this is how quick it is to draw the abstents on the system. All right, then let's add hob here. Let's say we've got one of our Bora hobs. So we're going to the to our object section. We will search for Bora, and we have few different Bora hobs. Let's use this one. You can, of course, when you're creating your objects, you can name the Bora especially for your needs and then with a model number. But let's use this custom snap point, which is this. We're gonna align to line and we're gonna offset placement. So we're gonna place this line in here, orientated that way, and we want to go with this hob 60 millimeters into this direction. Okay, there we go. That hob has that little element here, but there we go. We just placed our hob 60 millimeters from the center to the snap point. We select it, center to the line. Okay, let's do in this section. Let's roll this another 800 and 800 cabinets to insert the sink. So we will use the 700 perpendicular line in the cabinet section. Right, then offset, as I said, we're gonna have 800 cabinet. So this line here, this line here, right. Then we're gonna draw our center line. Then we want to insert our sink. Let's see what sink we can do here. I don't have much of the sinks in. Oh, okay, let's do that sink. Okay, so we're gonna again align to line and offset placement. So we're selecting the line, we're selecting this, then we're selecting the point. We're gonna orientate the sink that way, and we're gonna offset by 100 millimeters towards this direction. Boom, the sink is positioned. Then we're gonna add our tab. Let's say draw circle. We're gonna use 35 millimeters diameter with the unpolished cutout, but we don't want to have it here, don't we? We need to move that, so we will select the tab, edit, move by distance, 35 millimeters. Okay, that section, boom. We've got our tab inserted as well, right? We remove the elements, so we have the tab, we have the sink. I think it's too far back, so let's select the sink and the tab, and let's move that selection to the left by what, 25 millimeters, right? So we selected the sink, moved by 25 millimeters. That's great. This is what we want now. All right, we want to draw also the groove to the left hand side. Okay, then style, we've got the trainer groove styles. We selecting the line, and now we're gonna offset by whatever 75 millimeters to each side. Boom. And let's expand this line to this line to the wall, and this line to the wall, so it looks as we want. That's our proper kitchen so far. Great. Okay, I think we just need to add a couple of notes. Right, so we've got our kitchen. Let's add the marker to our side. We've got all these stones. Let's say we want this to be in 30 millimeters, and we always, let's say, marking the 30 millimeters using the letters. Okay, so we can select the sections and mark them with the letters B, C. Okay, we can move that so it's visible. Okay, but then we abstance, we're using the numbers, but let's use the numbers in the format of one of many markers. So we can select available. We're gonna select available clear section, because with this marker we can select also the letters. So let's say the C letter we want to be orientated like that, and then A we want to have also like that. So then we want to select the rest available and mark them with the number like this. Close. And this is how the finished kitchen look like, right? So you can add then photos to the system. You can upload photos or take the photos with your tablet. We're gonna save the job. Then you can email. System will send that email to the recipient, or you can export this job. The system is building the pack. You've exported job. The job is exported under the job name as a zip. You've got the notes, if there are any notes for that job. PDF in here. And of course, we have the DXF file. Okay, so this is not the quickest video to show you the basics of the Quotum Studio, how to draw and complete the template from the capturing points that you have done with your laser machine, whatever they. Okay, so this is how to complete the template on site using the Quotum Studio, and then draw all the necessary elements onto your drawing and export this drawing as a DXF. So very soon I will show another videos showing more advanced options how you can use the Quotum Studio. The Quotum Studio is available to download for free. You can use everything you've seen here for free. The only limitation is you can't export the DXF, but you can play around, check if it's something that may help you with your daily jobs. If you have any questions, any suggestions, just leave the comment. I will be more than happy to answer it. We've got our Telegram group as well. If you want to help us develop this further, taking your advice, suggestions, join our Telegram group. Leave the comment and I will send you a link. I'll see you later.